sir. Didn't really write that down.
No! Clip shows have been a staple of sitcoms for quite some time now. I'll never forget the day the writers decided, hey, let's take a break for a couple episodes and just reminisce about things that had already happened. It's kind of a yearbook for TV shows. I mean, if it's done well, because I gotta be honest, there's some really bad clip show episodes out there that just scream laziness.
Stop.
You mean go?
No.
You mean yes?
I'm serious.
So I'm gonna share with you guys the top 5 worst clip show experiences I've had with a sitcom. These shows are significantly shorter, between usually 1, 2, maybe even 4 seasons max. So the fact that they're even doing clip show episodes is kind of astounding to me. Sometimes I've heard that it's because the actors can't get there, or like maybe they can't do an episode on schedule, and that's probably why it's not happening. I don't know, but there's some real travesties in here. At its best, it serves as its own episode and honors a lot of the footage, the character moments, and gives us insight onto some of our favorite experiences going through these shows. At its worst, it's a horribly pieced together compilation of old clips that doesn't necessarily bring anything new to the table, making it kind of a waste of all of our time. And gives us insight onto some of our favorite experiences going through these shows. But now in this generation, when there's like TikTok and clips being put together anyway, hint hint my channel, it's almost like they look worse in retrospect. A good example of this is actually Drake and Josh. So despite some of the other episodes I'm gonna have on this list, Drake and Josh did Dr. Phyliss at the end of its 3rd season. Sure, it's a little weird because they only had 3 seasons, with the first season being 6 episodes, but they did a really good job at making the Dr. Phyliss show at the forefront of the nostalgia bait. Like, for me, I don't look back and was like, that was a clip show episode. No, I look back and see that it was really good, and they're taking us back to Drake and Josh moments that actually mattered. Therefore, I feel like it's the perfect culmination of old and new clips, despite the fact it's at the end of its 3rd season. There was a lot of time dedicated to Drake and Josh, so it's like hard to argue that it was a waste of an episode. But just wait, because it gets bad. At number 5...
Okay, we'll stay out of your way. But it would be nice if you showed a little faith in us every once in a while.
Yeah, The Sweet Life had an episode that was essentially a clip show. Do you guys remember it? I don't think you did, because it's the finale. Yeah, the final episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is a clip show. It's called Mr. Tipton Comes to Visit.
It is not something you spell. It is a gear shift. The letters stand for park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low.
And basically all the staff is worried that Mr. Tipton's visit is going to mean a bonus for everybody, or somebody's gonna get fired. And it's really interesting to see the plot progress. I feel like they did a good job at almost honoring the older episodes. Like Drake and Josh did it before the show was over. That's kind of weird, but at least The Sweet Life used it as this vehicle to kind of honor everything that's happened in the series thus far. The fact that it's not on Zack and Cody as much as it is everybody else at the hotel kind of makes me feel like it's teetering on not being a good clip show. And I feel like the fact that it's the series finale is kind of heartbreaking, because I want to get one last story with these characters, not necessarily just look back on all the stories I've seen already.
What are you doing?
It's kind of hard for me to defend this one, but it is one of the ones that I swear is the most memorable. You'll notice the difference between the Disney Channel and the Teen Nick episodes that do clip shows. It's funny because I feel like Nickelodeon definitely started it first, considering that a lot of these episodes were coming after the fact of the Drake and Josh one, but it's crazy that they all jumped in on it and then got the worst of it.
You're a child!
One that really annoys me is Sonny So Far. It's from Sonny with a Chance, and it is the 21st episode in its 1st season, the season finale. I am a big Sonny with a Chance fan. I think it's a great show. It's almost like taking all that and 30 Rock and making this great kids tween hybrid, featuring like really funny characters that are genuinely just hilarious.
Man, this isn't mechanical.
Mackenzie Falls?
It makes me feel like, I don't know, like the writers knew that the kids were paying attention to each and every joke, so they put it together so well. It's cynical in a way that Drake and Josh isn't, but it definitely lost a lot of points for me on its season finale. There's so many great episodes up until that point, but Sonny so far takes the idea of the Dr. Phyliss show, where Sonny and Tawny are going to be on a talk show, but then almost pulls back. They do a good job at keeping the plot in.
Since you two are so on the same page, looks like I'll need a third opinion. Please give it up for Chad Dylan Cooper!
Like, they're at the show, and Sonny's whole bit is that she doesn't want to accidentally give away personal information because she's a small town girl. She cares about being portrayed in the Hollywood light in a disrespectful way. But Tawny, it's like her first interview, and both of them are super nervous. But with the host actually having a goal of getting as much information out of the girls as possible. Definitely a really interesting way to go about that format. And something I will say is on its side is the fact that there's more episode than there is clips. Like, the amount of clips are nothing compared to the episode. It's just annoying because there's not that many episodes of Sonny with a chance to begin with, so to think out of all 47, one of them is just a rehash of an older episode, I'm upset. You know, like, I feel like it could have been a great season finale. They could have ended on a better cliffhanger. They do introduce Chad and Sonny's relationship and have a great moment where Tawny actually does a selfless act to make Sonny feel better, which is really genuine and nice, but like, it feels like it's just thrown together in a bad way. And why the first season? Why? What are we looking back on? 20 episodes? I don't think we need that. I don't think we need that in a first season of a show. They actually had a flashback type episode, Tales from the Prop House, which is episode 15. They actually called on moments that never happened, which I thought was a great idea for an episode. Like, it was an episode about flashbacks, but everything was new. Exactly the way that stuff should go.
What's going on? If it's not one thing, it's Mama!
And that's when we get to the crutch episodes, the clip show episodes that just straightforward are just milking it in the worst way possible. I'm not sure if you guys remember this. I know you're thinking of Victorious and iCarly's blooper episode, but there was one before that, and it's called PCA Confidential.
Hi, I have a question for Chase.
Sure, what you want to know?
Well, I'm really interested in physics and chemistry and other science stuff. Would PCA be a good place for me?
Yeah, if you saw my Zoey 101 retrospective, you'll know that there is the finale, which is Chasing Zoey or Goodbye Zoey, and then we have one extra episode where we just forget all the events of the prior finale and just start talking about clips that had already happened in the show. And I feel like this would have been a great DVD bonus feature. This would have been a good special to have on Nickelodeon leading up to the finale, not necessarily taking the spot of the finale. Like, literally the production code is a number. That means the network ordered this as an episode, and I don't remember them ordering 10 minutes. Yeah, it's mostly clips, and it's just Zoey and Chase answering questions for people that are going to go to PCA. It's a cool concept, but there's no plot that occurs. There's no beginning and ending. There's just like Chase and Zoey defending themselves, trying to keep everything PG with PCA.
Go get a hammer, then come back and kill me with it!
So therefore, it's not a good one. I'm not happy with that. But you know what? It does get worse, unfortunately. Because Victorious did it. Yeah, and Victorious is actually pretty bad. You might be surprised to hear that Victorious is number 2 instead of number 1 of the worst. It's because iCarly, we'll get to that, but Blooptorious is this kind of like new hybrid of clip show with a talk show element.
You're a walk through a fresh meadow? See, who says things like that?
There is no overarching narrative at all, like Sonny so far, like the Dr. Phyliss show. They just take that format and use it for utter nonsense. Christopher Kane is the host, and he cares too much about the wrong things.
Come on, Christopher.
Look at those glorious little cheekbones.
It doesn't seem like it could have possibly been scripted. Like, the jokes are that bad that it just feels like they were just being awkward for awkward's sake. And that's kind of something I don't like non-intentional storytelling. Like, that's not cool.
If you were a bottle of shampoo, what would be your fragrance?
My fragrance?
And it's just this guy poking fun at the characters, the laugh tracks in between, and it almost doesn't feel earned. I've never noticed the laugh track more than in a blooper episode of a show. Maybe because it's like teetering behind meta and like the actual episode, but for this it just bothered me a little bit too much. And I don't even know what the order of this is. Like, we start with Andre, who is actually one of the main characters. Why is he going last? And Robbie is like one of the final ones we interview. Of course, we land on Tori, but like, why is that the order? Like, shouldn't we be basing it off of like priority of the characters or the amount of scenes they have? Like, Andre should be saving best for last, but he's just put right in the front, so all the good stuff is over. Trina is a little too realistic in this.
I play Trina, who's Tori's older sister.
Tell me about Ariana.
Well,
It feels like she is genuinely happy to be there, and Christopher Kane, or Rex or whatever, is just straightforward bullying her live on set, and I'm really not here for it. I feel like the jokes aren't even funny enough to justify it happening. Like, I feel bad for Daniela Monet because she's just trying to make an honest performance out of this clip show episode, and nobody wins. It's just Rex bullying the kids, pretty much. And you could tell the adult humor is such a priority in this one for them, because I guess the writers needed a break. I just don't understand why they had to waste our time growing up watching it. When this first came out, I was thinking that it would be an episode with a little bit of a substance, like maybe we'd see clips we hadn't seen before, because this is only like, I think 25 episodes in that they did this, so it's not like it's an old show that they need to go back to all these memories. It's just an excuse to have an extended behind-the-scenes featurette, and unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles with that, and I'm sad to say that's the truth. Blooptorious definitely looks bad on the series. It definitely gives clip shows a bad name. I just don't know why they need to do clip shows. Like, just use it as some kind of extra bonus feature. We live in a time now where that's a little too obvious, but back then, I guess, they were trying to get away with whatever they could, and that is the glaring issue with all of these teen shows, especially the Nickelodeon ones. Like, they set up the idea, but then they did worse at it than all these other shows. Like, at least Sonny with a Chance put in a little bit of character development. Drake and Josh put in a fun little story with an additional new character. Meanwhile, Victorious is just taking all the old characters, giving them worse lines than they ever had in the show, and just letting it go crazy. And it's lazy to me, honestly. But the number one, the one that actually beats that...
You've been there for iCarly's biggest moments. And Saturday, you'll see their biggest bloopers. Join Miranda Cosgrove and Jerry Trainer.
I don't know what to say anymore.
For an inside look at the craziest outtakes and wildest stunts in the first ever iCarly blooper special. iBloop premieres Saturday at 8.
First one is not too bad. iBloop is at the end of season 3, and that's enough time. Like, they had about like 50 to 60 episodes at that point. Great. Like, good idea to do a blooper episode. I love that. This first one is super friendly, and it's really in the spirit of the show. They make it seem like it's all the actors gathered around to see their footage.
Really need this job.
Look, Jerry.
You know, I love playing Spencer.
Yeah, they do a genuinely good job, and I think all the actors cared, and that was when iCarly was still at its best. I feel like it started to peak when we hit the 4th season, and that's when iBloop 2 Electric Bloopaloo came out. And that is, number 1, the worst blooper clip show episode of teen TV I have ever seen. Why? Because they ended up taking iBloop 2 and using the format they made for Blooptorious. So they took the Victorious framework and pasted it onto iCarly, a show that literally doesn't have anything to do with it. It feels like the writers being on both shows were just showing off the fact that they could keep telling meta jokes. Everybody knew these shows were on at the same time. We would just kind of view them as the same show. And it went a little bit over its head in terms of the comedy, where they actually took the worst parts of Christopher Kane and used it on iCarly.
I will be interviewing the cast and showing bloopers from iCarly, a show I've never seen, but apparently is wildly popular.
It's peak cynicism. Like, all the characters are horrible to each other, and just because we see them behind the scenes, that gives them permission to be worse people. It almost sets this opposite example when you're watching a show like this. to believe that that's what life is like, and you're supposed to go out and mock your friends, like, every joke is at somebody else's expense, and that's the part that I can't get behind. A lot of the clips they used were actually shorter and more of them, but they were even less relevant than before.
After I was finished with her, she and Jerry started dating.
Yeah, and she's a great girl.
I have some used snow skis I don't want anymore. Perhaps you'd like to have those too.
Hey!
So iCarly 2 really essentially butchered both Victorious and iCarly, made them both seem not as good shows, and then had the nerve to show us really stupid clips. Sam and Cat actually had a blooper episode too. I just didn't want to put it on the list because it was insulting to even think about it.
When Sam and Cat is so right,
Genius.
what could possibly go wrong?
You guys are doing a blooper show.
Everything.
Where? That's my line.
It's called #blooper episode. It's the 26th episode, which is like pretty much the earliest they've had a blooper episode on any of these shows, except for Sonny with a Chance, of course. And it's all them at a restaurant this time, playing as themselves. But, of course, they're bullies. They won't even let Goomer, the character, sit with them since they're the main characters and he's not. Already kind of a weird aspect. They add Sinjin into it, which is kind of a nice callback. But why this episode? And it's so annoying because they just have random characters that have never been in the show, just asking them questions to prompt more bloopers and behind-the-scenes stuff. It feels like they filmed this in an afternoon just to buy some time. Ariana Grande's hair isn't even red like Cat's for this. Like, I get it, she's not playing herself. But why not just convince us you tried? Harry Trainer makes an appearance, which is actually really cool to have him in this episode, but, like, it seems like some of these aren't even bloopers, they're just planned, awkward moments that they wanted to have in it. Yeah, the meta jokes never end, it just ends with Sinjin dancing, and it's just such a weird waste of airtime that they had to do. Oh well. I didn't realize how many shows featured clip shows, like Sweet Life, Sonny with a Chance, but now that I'm, like, seeing it all together, like, yeah, I'm not a fan of this, and I hope you guys had a good time growing up with these blooper episodes, because like I said, like, at their best, they could do a really good job at progressing the story. I still think they are a lower tier than a normal episode of TV, so, like, why do it ever? Like, people are there to watch a beginning, middle, and end narrative with character development, whether it resets or not, like, that's why you're there. So, the fact that these networks allowed this 30-minute block of nonsense is just beyond me. But hey, we got good memories from Dr. Phyliss. I did like the Sonny So Far one. It's just the iCarly and Victorious that took it a little too off the rails too quickly. And yeah, I don't know, do you guys like any of these clip shows, or are there some I'm, like, forgetting? I would love to know if there's more that I'm missing here, so please comment below. But in the meantime, like, why did they do this? Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Johnny 2000, and I will see you guys next time.